You know, when you're watching a video online, maybe someone reviewing a gadget or sharing a travel vlog, and you just find yourself completely drawn in.
Hmm.
Well, chances are it's not just the person talking. There's often some other visual stuff going on that's called B-roll.
Right, the supporting footage.
Exactly. So for this deep dive, we've looked at some really interesting insights from places like the Twirl blog, platform UGC B-roll, and the UDC Club.
Good sources. They cover it from different angles.
Yeah, they do. And we want to figure out what B-roll really is, why it's suddenly, well, not suddenly, but increasingly important, especially with all the user-generated content, UGC out there.
It's everywhere now.
It really is.
Yeah.
So whether you're making videos yourself or maybe you're a brand thinking about using UGC, our goal here is simple. Let's understand B-roll, its definition, its history, the benefits, and how it actually works in the UGC world today.
Sounds good. Let's get into it. Where should we start? The history.
Yeah, let's do that. Where did A-roll and B-roll even come from? Because they sound kind of technical.
They are, or at least they were. It goes back to old school filmmaking, like actual physical film reels.
Okay.
The A-roll was your main footage. Think the main dialogue scenes, the core action. That was roll A.
Gotcha, the primary stuff.
Right. Now, when they physically cut and spliced pieces of this A-roll together, you get these visible joins, these cuts.
Ah, so you could literally see the edits.
Exactly. So B-roll came in as a secondary roll of film. It had related footage, maybe establishing shots, cutaways, reaction shots, and they used snippets from this B-roll to literally paste over the splice points on the A-roll.
No way. So it was just to hide the seams.
Initially, yeah. It was a practical fix to make the edits smoother, less jarring. It stopped those jump cuts.
Hmm?
But filmmakers quickly realized it did more than just hide cuts.
How so?
Well, it added visual interest, context. It helped pace the film. It basically became a key part of visual storytelling, almost by accident.
Wow, a technical workaround that turned into a creative tool. That's fascinating.
One, isn't it? So fast forward to now, digital video. B-roll is way more than hiding edits, obviously.
Right, so what is it now, in the modern sense?
It's still that supplementary footage. It's everything that isn't the main narrative driver, but adds like flavor, depth, context.
Okay, give me some examples.
Sure. Say someone's talking about their great vacation. The A-roll is them talking to the camera. The B-roll could be shots of the beach they visited, the bustling market, close-ups of the food they ate.
Scenic views, action shots.
Yeah. Or for a product review, the A-roll might be the person talking, but the B-roll shows close-ups of the product features, shots of them actually using the product, maybe their reaction opening the box.
Okay, that makes sense. It shows rather than just tells.
Precisely. And the A-roll then is usually the main thing you're meant to focus on. Often the person speaking, like we said, or in unboxing videos, it might be primarily the hands interacting with the product.
Right, well, the voiceover tells the story. Okay, so let's connect this specifically to UGC, user-generated content. Just quickly, for anyone maybe unfamiliar, UGC is just content made by regular people, right? Not brands or pros.
Exactly. Photos, videos, reviews, think customer testimonials, people sharing how they use a product, those unboxing videos again. It's content by users, for users, generally.
And it often feels very real, very authentic because of that. Sometimes a bit raw, maybe.
Yeah, that rawness is often part of its appeal. But, and this is key, just because it's authentic doesn't mean it can't be polished a bit.
Ah, and that's where B-roll comes into the UGC picture.
You got it. Adding B-roll thoughtfully can make UGC more engaging, more professional looking, without losing that core authenticity. It elevates it.
Okay, so what are the specific benefits then? Our sources mentioned quite a few. One that caught my eye was that B-roll can actually enhance authenticity. That sounds a bit counterintuitive.
It does at first, yeah. But think about it. Imagine someone giving a testimonial about, say, hiking gear. Their A-roll is them talking, maybe in their living room. Now, if you intersperse that with B-roll, they shot while hiking, misty mountain views, close-ups of their boots on the muddy trail, maybe a shot of the gear in action.
Ah, it provides proof. Visual evidence.
Exactly. It backs up their words. It shows they were really there, really doing it. It makes their testimonial much more believable, more relatable than just the talking head.
Right, showing versus telling again. That makes total sense.
Another huge benefit is just breaking up the monotony.
Oh, yeah. Staring at one person talking for ages can get boring, no matter how interesting they are.
Totally. Those little B-roll inserts, even quick ones, give your eyes something new to look at. They reset attention, keep viewers engaged. It prevents that visual fatigue.
And context, you mentioned that earlier, showing the product being used during a review, for instance.
Absolutely vital. If someone's reviewing a new blender, you want to see it blending, right? Not just hear about how well it works. That B-roll provides crucial context.
Which naturally leads to better engagement overall. People stick around longer if there's visual variety.
And it goes beyond just keeping eyes on the screen. B-roll adds depth. It makes the viewing experience richer, more multidimensional.
How so? Adds depth.
Well, it can evoke emotions, a beautiful scenic shot paired with a reflective comment, for example. It can visually reinforce a key point the speaker is making. It just helps tell a more complete, more compelling story.
And it makes the whole thing look slicker, more professional.
Definitely. Even if the A-roll is shot simply, adding well-chosen B-roll gives the UGC a more polished feel, a higher perceived production value. It lives the whole piece.
Without making it feel fake or overly corporate if done right.
That's the key. It has to feel consistent with the authentic UGC vibe.
Okay, another interesting point from the sources was about reusable B-roll. Tell me about that.
Yeah, this is a really smart strategy, especially for brands. Imagine a company that gets lots of video testimonials.
Okay.
They could proactively build up a library of generic but relevant B-roll, shots of their product packaging, the product being used in different typical settings, maybe some nice close-ups.
Like a stock library, but their own specific footage.
Exactly. And then, whenever they get a new video testimonial, the A-roll, they can easily dip into their B-roll library and sprinkle those shots in.
So they don't have to shoot new B-roll every single time.
Right. It ensures visual consistency across all their testimonials, makes them look cohesive, and saves a ton of time and resources. You could even tag the clips. Unboxing shot, product in kitchen, using Feature X.
That's super efficient. Okay,
Okay.
so practically speaking, how do people actually get this B-roll for their UGC?
Well, one way, mentioned by Twirl, is for brands to specifically ask creators just for B-roll.
Not a full video, just the extra shots.
Yeah. Like, hey, can you send us 10 short clips of you using our product in different ways? The brand then takes that footage and edits it into their own projects, maybe combining it with other A-roll they already have.
So they're commissioning the components, essentially.
Kinda, yeah. It gives them flexibility.
Yeah.
But a really important point, all sources stress is relevance.
Meaning the B-roll has to match the main topic.
Absolutely. Throwing in random pretty shots that have nothing to do with what's being said, that just confuses people. It pulls them out of the story. The B-roll has to support the narrative, not distract from it.
Got it. What if you can't shoot your own B-roll or you need something specific?
That's where stock footage comes in. There are platforms like Pexels and Pixabay. They offer tons of free, royalty-free B-roll clips.
Free is good.
Definitely a great starting point. Then there are paid options like GridBank, Artlist.io, Storyblocks, Shutterstock. They offer huge libraries, often higher quality or more specific stuff, usually via subscription or per-clip payment.
So options exist even if you don't have a camera crew following you around.
For sure. And there's also this interesting feature from StoryTap.
Oh yeah, what do they do?
They have a system where when a brand collects a video testimonial from a customer, they can add a separate prompt specifically asking for extra B-roll footage.
Like after the main recording?
Yeah, like, thanks for your review. Now, could you quickly show us how you use the product in your kitchen? Or show us your favorite feature in action?
And what happens with that extra footage?
It gets stored separately within the StoryTap platform. So the brand gets the main testimonial, plus this collection of authentic B-roll clips from real users ready to be used.
That's clever. So they can use it for, what, ads? Social media?
All of the above. Short, punchy social videos, maybe clips for video ads showing real usage, adding visuals to email campaigns, blog posts. It's super versatile, and because it's real customers, it carries that UGC authenticity.
Loads of potential there for repurposing content. Okay, let's talk about the footage itself. There's a difference between just raw files and B-roll, right?
Yeah, it's a subtle but important distinction. When you film a video, you might have lots of takes, extra shots that don't make the final cut. Those are the raw files for that specific project. But within those unused raw files, there might be great standalone shots, a nice product close-up, a cool background scene that could potentially be used as general B-roll in a completely different video later on.
So you extract useful bits from the leftovers?
Kind of. It's about seeing the potential beyond the initial project. That unused clip from Customer A's testimonial might be the perfect B-roll for a marketing video featuring Customer B's story.
Which leads to the idea of creators maybe selling this B-roll.
Exactly. We mentioned Toro lets brands request B-roll only, and the UGC Club points to platforms like Blackbox.
What's Black Box?
It's a platform that helps creators distribute their footage, including potential B-roll, to major stock marketplaces like Shutterstock, Adobe Stock, Freepik. So creators can potentially earn money from their unused clips.
Interesting. So creators could build up a portfolio of B-roll.
Yeah, absolutely. They could offer as an add-on service to brands they work with. Hey, in addition to the main video, I can provide you with a package of 10 high-quality B-roll clips for an extra fee.
A potential extra income stream.
Could be. Maybe not the main income, but definitely a way to monetize footage they might already have. The key, though, as the sources emphasize, is making sure that compensation is fair for this extra work and value.
Right. Fair pay for the content. So summing up the sourcing options for brands. UGC platforms like Twirl, asking creators directly.
Yep. Stock sites like Pixabay for free stuff, or paid ones like Artlist, Storyblocks, Shutterstock.
Lots of choices depending on budget and need.
And, getting custom B-roll from UGC creators you already trust often yields the most authentic results because they get your brand.
Right. It aligns better, perhaps.
Often, yeah. It feels less like generic stock and more integrated.
Okay, so wrapping this up, B-roll seems pretty crucial, actually. It really does lift that user-generated content, making it more engaging, look better, and ultimately work harder for whoever is using it, right?
Absolutely. It transforms good UGC into potentially great UGC. It helps you, the viewer, connect more deeply with the content.
But it doesn't have to be super complicated or expensive, especially when starting out.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Our sources suggest just starting simple. Use your phone, capture some relevant extra shots. Don't feel you need a huge stock footage budget right away.
Yeah.
Even basic B-roll makes a difference.
And maybe think about the potential for those extra clips, even for creators generating income.
This is another angle to consider, definitely.
It really is amazing how these secondary visuals, these quick cutaways, can totally change how we perceive a video.
You might not actively register every single B-roll shot, but subconsciously, they're shaping your experience, adding context, building emotion.
Think about those examples, the hiking boot, the product in use. Those little moments add so much credibility and interest.
They really do. Which brings us to a final thought, maybe for you listening.
Yeah.
How could you start thinking more like a B-roll creator in your own life? Even if it's just for personal stuff or sharing things online. Could you consciously capture those extra details? The environment, the action, the close-ups, alongside your main story?
Like adding visual footnotes to your own experiences?
Sort of. Could actively looking for and capturing those B-roll moments make your own storytelling? Even just casual sharing, more vivid and engaging. Something to think about.